Hello everyone. In today's lesson, we are going to look at quadratic equations. Now, when I talk about a quadratic equation, I talk about an equation where the highest power of the variable is 2. For example, if I have ax squared, then plus bx, then plus c. If x is our variable, now the highest power of it is 2. The moment we see that, then that is a quadratic equation. And a, b, and c, those are constant numbers. Are we together? Now, for this equation to qualify to be a quadratic equation, we have to make sure that the value of a is not equal to a 0. Because if the value of a is 0, then it means that we are going to get a 0 and we multiply with x squared, of which the result is a 0. And the highest power of x will now be a 1. Are we together? So today we are going to look at various methods of solving a quadratic equation. But we are going to begin with the method of factorization. So let's go into examples. They are telling us solve the following quadratic equations using factorization method. Part A, we have x squared, then plus 5 of x, then plus 6, everything is equal to a 0. Now, to solve that equation, we are going to begin by identifying the value of a, the value of b, and then the value of c. Now, the value of a is always the coefficient on x squared. And when I look at my x squared, there is a silent one which is multiplied on it. Then the value of b is the coefficient on our x, and the coefficient on x is a 5. Are we together? And the value of c is the constant term, which is a what? A 6. Now, after identifying the value of a, the value of b, and the value of c, we are going to find the product of a and what? And c. Are we together? So I'm going to get 1, then I multiply it with a 6. And the moment I do that, I'm going to get the product of a and c as a what? A 6. Now, after obtaining the product, then I'm going to look for two numbers such that when I multiply them, I get 6, and when I add them, I get 5. In other words, we are going to look for factors of 6, but the condition is when we multiply them, we should get a 6, and when we add them, we should get a what? A 5. And probably we have a 2 and a 3. Are we together? Reason being, when I get this 2 and I add on to a 3, I'm going to get a 5. And when I get a 2 and I multiply with a 3, I'm going to get back to a 6. Now, after obtaining the factors of 6, we are going to split the middle term using our factors. So we are going to rewrite our quadratic equation as x squared, then plus. In the position of 5x, I'm going to put 2x, then plus 3x, then plus 6. Everything is equal to a 0. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. After obtaining those 4 terms, I'm going to group them into pairs. And the first pair is going to constitute of x squared, then plus 2x, the first 2 terms, and the second pair is going to constitute of 3x plus 6, the last 2 terms. Now, after creating those pairs, then I'm going to factorize common terms or common factors from each bracket. So when I look at this bracket, what is common to x squared and 2x? Yes, that is x. So since x is common to x squared and 2x, I'm going to take it outside. And the moment I factorize x from x squared, our balance is going to be x. And the moment we factorize x from 2x, then the balance is going to be a 2. Then plus. Are we together? I have 3x plus 6. Now, what is common to 3x and 6? The common number is 3. So we are going to take out 3. The moment I factorize a 3, then it means that here I'm going to be left with x, and here I'm going to be left with a 2, and everything is equal to a 0. So after factorizing the common terms or the common factors from each bracket, I realize that I get common brackets. And the moment I see common brackets, then it means that I'm going to also factorize them. So when I factorize x plus 2, here I'm going to be left with x, and here I'm going to be left with 3, but don't forget that everything is equal to a 0. Now, to get the values of x, I'm going to use the zero product property. How does it state? If I have 2 numbers, for example, p and q multiplied, okay, there is a possibility that either p is 0, because to obtain a 0, if our p is 0, we shall get a 0 times a q, everything is equal to 0. That is 1. Or this q can be as well a what? A 0. So I'm going to say that this is my p and this is my what? My q. So I'm going to say, using the zero product property, either x plus 2, everything is equal to 0, meaning that I'm going to solve for what? For x. So our x value is equal to x plus 3, everything is equal to 0. So I solve for x, meaning that x is equal to negative 3. So our possible values of x are x is equal to negative 2 and x is equal to negative. Part B of the example. So we have 2x squared, then plus 7x, then minus 4, everything is equal to a 0. Remember, we said that the first step is to identify the value of A, the value of B, and then the value of C. And for our quadratic equation, the value of A is 2, the value of B is 7, and then the value of C is negative 4. Then afterwards, we say that we are going to get the product of A and a C. And this is 2 times negative 4. So 2 times negative 4, we shall get the result as negative 8. Now, after getting the product, we say that we shall get the factors of the product. And we said the condition is when we multiply those factors, the result must be negative 8, and the moment we add them, the result should be a 7. So what are those factors? We shall have 8 and then -1, simply because the moment I get 8 plus -1, I'm going to get back to 7. That is the value of B. And the moment I get 8 and I multiply with -1, I'm going to get negative what? 8. So after getting the factors, then we are going to split the middle term using our factors. So we rewrite the quadratic equation. So that is 2x squared, then plus 8 of x, then minus x, then minus 4, everything is equal to 0. So after splitting the middle term, then we are going to group the terms into pairs. And the first pair, we say that is going to contain the first two terms. So that is 2x squared, then plus 8x, then plus negative of x minus a 4, everything is equal to 0. So we said that after grouping the terms into pairs, then we are going to look out for the common factor from each term. So when I look at 2x squared and 8x, what is common to both? So when I observe, I clearly see that 2x is common to 2x squared and 8x. And the moment I remove 2x from 2x squared, then the balance is going to be x. And also, the moment I remove 2x from 8x, the balance is going to be a positive 4. Then let's go to the next bracket. What is common to negative x and the negative 4? So negative 1 is common to negative x and negative 4. So the moment I factorize negative 1, here I'm going to be left with the x, then here I'm going to be left with a positive 4, then everything is equal to 0. So after factorizing, I clearly see that x plus 4 is common, meaning that also I'm going to do what? Factorize it out. So that is x plus 4 into, when I factorize x plus 4 from this term, I'm going to be left with 2x. Then when I factorize x plus 4 from this term, I'm going to be left with -1 and everything is equal to 0. Then afterwards, we are going to apply the zero product property. Remember, we said that if I have two numbers p multiplied with q, if I get the result as 0, there is a possibility that the value of p is 0 or the value of q is 0. So I'm going to say either x plus 4 is the one which is equal to 0, and the moment I solve for x, I can get x as -4, or there is a possibility that 2x minus 1, everything is equal to 0. So we solve for x, that is 2x, everything is equal to 1. I divide by 2, I divide by 2. So x is equal to 1/2. And the possible values of x are, we shall have x is equal to -4 and x is equal to 1/2. So for purposes of revision, please do part C, part D, part E, and then part F. Thank you for watching.